of corporate crossfire. TMC MP faces ethics panel probe. Businessman Darshan Hiranandani makes big claim. Did Mahua share her parliamentary login? Is this 2023's biggest political scandal? Our top focus on 6 p.m. Prime.
Good evening. You're watching 6 p.m. Prime here on India Today. I'm Akshita and Nandgopal, and this evening we're getting you the latest updates of the controversy plaguing TMC MP Mahua Moitra. She's accused of taking gifts of bags, scarves worth lakhs. She's accused of getting financial favors, all for going ahead and asking some questions about Gautam Adani. This is the allegation that she faces. There have been multiple such charges leveled against her, first by a complainant, a lawyer, and then by the businessman Darshan Hiranandani himself, who says, yes, I did it. I did log into Mahua Moitra's parliamentary address and then put in those questions. We're going to give you all the details, reactions coming in on the story. A look at the headlines first. Trinamool MP Mahua Moitra hits out at businessman Hiranandani's letter, calls it a joke, says she's ready to be quizzed by CBI and ethics panel. TMC adopts a wait-and-watch policy. Suspense continues over Israel's Gaza ground invasion. Netanyahu asks troops to be ready. India Today is now on Palestinian soil, reporting first from the West Bank. Canada withdraws 41 of its diplomats after India's ultimatum on parity. Services at Mumbai, Bengaluru and Chandigarh consulates stopped. India accuses Canada of interfering in internal affairs once again. No relief for Aam Aadmi Party Neta Sanjay Singh in the Delhi Liquorgate probe. Delhi High Court quashes plea challenging arrest, says there are no grounds to interfere in ED investigation. JDS Supremo H.D. Devagowda claims he got green light for his alliance with the BJP in Karnataka from Kerala's Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. Rejects statement, calls Devagowda's claim utter nonsense. And BCCI confirms Hardik Pandya will miss the game versus New Zealand on Sunday due to an injury. Pandya will instead join the squad in Lucknow for the game against England. It all started with a lawyer's letter to the CBI getting leaked. This lawyer complained that Mahua Moitra was getting kickbacks, favors from a prominent businessman to ask the right kind of questions against Gautam Adani in Parliament. That this businessman used her credentials, used her MP login to type in the questions, queries that should be asked. About 51 of the 60 queries were decided based on this. Mahua dismissed this, saying he was a jilted ex, that they're fighting for custody over their dog. Then you had the businessman in question, Darshan Hiranandani, coming out and saying that, yes, I did do that. Yes, I directed Mahua to ask certain questions. And yes, I did gift her certain items. I paid her money in exchange for that. This is blown up right now. Mahua Moitra continues to defend herself. Let's get you all the latest on this big story in our report.
A democratic framework with
The cash for query case against Mahua Moitra has taken one sensational turn after another. Accused businessman Darshan Hiranandani in a bombshell letter has now claimed that yes, he bribed Mahua for raising Adani-related questions in Parliament. But it is Darshan Hiranandani's mention of using the MP login that stirred a hornet's nest. The businessman in his letter claimed he used Mahua's login several times into the Parliament internal site to post queries that he wanted her to ask. Darshan in his letter said, and I quote, "I continue to draft and post questions using her parliamentary login whenever needed." But the TMC MP has hit back, alleging that the Prime Minister's office forced him to sign a white paper that was later leaked to media. Mahua further alleged that it's BJP government's bid to shut her up on the Adani issue.
In the face of slew of allegations, Trinamool Congress firebrand MP Mahua Moitra remains defiant. She has said in a statement that she is willing to face any investigation, be it by the Central Bureau of Investigation or a probe conducted by the Ethics Committee of the Parliament.
The allegations against Mahua are now before the ethics panel in Parliament, which will decide on whether action must be taken against the TMC MP.
देखिए अभी सबसे पहले उन दोनों लोगों ने जिन्होंने कंप्लेंट किया है, दोनों लोगों को 26 तारीख को ही बुलाया गया है, ठीक है। उसके बाद अभी हीराचंदानी जी का एफिडेविट आया, उसको भी एग्जामिन करेंगे। एग्जामिन करने के बाद आवश्यकता महसूस होगी तो निश्चित रूप से महुआ मोइत्रा को भी सम्मान किया जाएगा।
The BJP meanwhile has lashed out at Mamta, accusing her of a serious breach of trust.
महुआ जी गरीब के वोट से सांसद बनकर पार्लियामेंट में अमीर के एजेंट के रूप में काम करने के लिए वो आई थी। वो लोकतंत्र के लिए, पार्लियामेंट के लिए, अपने पूरे पार्लियामेंट्री सिस्टम के लिए ये शोभा नहीं देती है इस प्रकार का व्यवहार।
અને seriously condemn this type of unethical practices by the TMC. She always loudly said against Honorable PM on the floor of the Parliament. Lok Sabha Ethics Committee should take appropriate action as early as possible.
So far, the TMC seems to have distanced themselves from the cash for query storm. Sources have told India Today that TMC has adopted a wait-and-watch policy before jumping to Mahua's defense. Mahua's attempt at getting legal relief via defamation case hit a roadblock as her counsel withdrew from the case, after the complainant alleged that Mahua's lawyer called him and attempted to convince him to drop the case.
I had reached out to him yesterday, that is correct, and had asked him, look, is there any way of exploring a settlement? That's all that the conversation was about. Jai had said he'd get back to me. He didn't get back to me. Today when I appeared, Jai personally said he had an objection to me appearing. I immediately withdrew and I said I don't want to do this case.
As Mahua's fate will be sealed by the Parliament Ethics Panel, the allegations of kickbacks or favours has led to an all-out political showdown. Bureau Report, India Today.
So what exactly has now businessman Darshan Hiranandani said about Mahua? Remember, he's called this an affidavit, but in the absence of it being on a letterhead, it's on a plain piece of paper, it remains a letter right now, not an affidavit. But I want to highlight for you exactly what he said about Mahua. There are some very damning bits here, and one that's led to an all-out showdown is this line here. We've highlighted some of the most important bits where he says Ms. Moitra drafted a few questions that would have elements to embarrass the government by targeting the Adani group. He follows this up by saying that yes, she shared her parliamentary details, her login details. She shared with me her email ID as a member of parliament, so I could send her information and she could raise the questions that I wanted essentially in Parliament, that Darshan wanted. Darshan continued to draft and post questions using her, Mahua's parliamentary login whenever needed, which means he had 100% full access. Whenever he felt the need, he'd log in and put in a question on her behalf. She kept asking me for various favors. Mahua Moitra, according to Darshan, was pressuring him for favors, and they were personal friends also. He concedes that in his letter. What kind of favors are we talking about? He elucidates on that as well, saying favors that were asked included gifting her expensive luxury items, providing support on renovation of her officially allotted bungalow in Delhi, travel expenses, holidays. Now, he hasn't given any details about the Louis Vuitton bags, the Gucci bags, the scarves, Hermes bags, none of that. That's something that the complainant lawyer has mentioned. He said that, yes, I gifted her expensive luxury items. I helped her with regards to renovating her house. I paid for her holidays. This is some of the highlights really of that letter that now Hiranandani has put out, which has once again triggered this massive storm over the allegations against Mahua Moitra. But politically, let's talk about really what's happening, the repercussions of this politically for Mahua Moitra. Indrajit Kundu is joining us, getting us the latest updates from Kolkata. Indrajit, good evening. What's very, very interesting in this saga really that's been playing out is that Mahua Moitra, of course, has been actively posting on social media to every charge, every allegation. She's responded categorically with long letters, with also, of course, clear justifications of what's happened. But there's been pin-drop silence from the Trinamool Congress. Why is that?
Well, absolutely, Akshita. That is the point. All these counterpoints that have come from Mahua Moitra herself. There has been no tweet, no statement coming in from the entire Trinamool Congress leadership. And that, is a statement in itself, because we know for sure that the Trinamool Congress leadership, the top leadership, including Bengal Chief Minister and Trinamool Congress Supremo Mamata Banerjee is well aware of the matter. They are seized of the matter, and they are yet to take a decision. At this point in time, the party has decided to take it very slow and see how things pan out in the days to come, because Mahua Moitra has already, put out a defamation case with the Delhi High Court, so that's sub judice. Then the matter is also to come before the Ethics Committee. So the party now believes that it is for Mahua to fend for herself at this point in time. It's premature. They want to see how things pan out in the days to come. Yes, it is going to be an embarrassment for the Trinamool Congress, given the kind of serious allegations that have been leveled against one of its firebrand MPs, somebody who has been so vocal on social media, somebody who is known to be known for her firebrand speeches, which often go viral on social media. In that sense, the party is treading very cautiously. What we are given to understand, Mahua Moitra, of course, remains in Nadia district in her constituency, Krishnanagar. We've been trying to reach out to her all day today, and she has not spoken to the media at all, except for the tweets that she's putting out for the world. Mahua Moitra is going to remain in her constituency is what we are given to understand right now. It's Durga Puja time. It started today. The festivities will continue for the next 5 days.
Correct.
And after the festivities are over, possibly there will be a meeting of the Trinamool Congress Disciplinary Committee, which might take into consideration the entire case that has come out in the media right now. And possibly after that,
I think
there
what's
could
very
be some
clear
sort
is
of an
that,
action.
Indru, they're not rushing into Mahua's defense here. They're going to wait and see. They've adopted a wait-and-watch policy right now, which is why there's no comment that's coming from the Trinamool Congress. Mahua maintains that at this point, I'm going to enjoy Durga Puja festivities. She's been visiting pandals, going about her pujo, and has said that I'm going to go ahead and take this on in the courts, take this on legally. Thanks very much, Indrajit, for getting us all of those details. Away from the politics. Now, as we get you all of the characters involved, remember that this all stems from one man, from the complainant lawyer, from Jai Dehadrai. And here's what Mahua has said in response to his complaint. And it's very interesting to note how she's dismissed what he said. First, she says that Jai Dehadrai is nothing but is a jilted ex. He is her ex-boyfriend, and so she says that this is him acting out after the relationship ended. She's saying that this is nothing but a bit to somehow get back at me, and that's why he actually filed that letter, sent across that letter to the CBI. So her suggestion is that all of this is completely motivated. So why is it motivated? According to Mahua's letter, she says that Jai, the complainant lawyer, wants the custody of Henry. Henry is the dog they had together, a Rottweiler, and is right now in Mahua's residence, reportedly sometimes also in the complainant lawyer's house. And according to Mahua's letter, she hasn't stopped there. She says that one example of Jai wanting to get back at me is that he trespassed into my official residence to actually steal Henry. And she's given a date saying that Jai, the complainant lawyer, actually stole Henry on October 10th. And then later returned the dog. So there's actually, believe it or not, a custody battle over this dog, over this Rottweiler called Henry, between Mahua and the complainant lawyer, who she says is nothing but a jilted ex-lover. So it's very interesting to see how this really will play out. The complainant hasn't really spoken to the media, but has taken to social media repeatedly to put out statements saying the truth will always triumph. And with that, I'm slipping into a very short break here on 6 p.m. Prime. We'll continue getting you all the latest political updates coming in on that story. On the other side, we're switching focus to Mission Gyaan, because tomorrow there's going to be one of many, many crucial tests that take place that will decide the success of this mission come 2024.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
Again, you hear another blast.
You just heard those sounds of the blast.
The focus of the Israeli army is on the Gaza.
It's terrifying. We lost everything.
The situation here remains extremely tense.
मिस्टर निंदाली उन्होंने ये आरोप लगाया और ये आरोप कितना सच है कितना झूठ है वो तो इंक्वायरी से पता चलेगा, लेकिन ये सामने आ रहा है कि एक बिजनेस ग्रुप को, अदानी ग्रुप को टारगेट किया गया, क्योंकि अदानी ग्रुप गुजरात से है, मोदी जी भी गुजराती है, इसलिए टारगेट किया गया। 60 में से 51 क्वेश्चन यानी लगभग 90% क्वेश्चन अदानी ग्रुप के ऊपर पूछा गया महुआ मोइत्रा द्वारा, और उसका लॉगिन आईडी निंदाली को दिया गया था, उन्होंने ही खुद से घुसकर वो क्वेश्चन किया। पूरी चीज सामने आ चुकी है, इसकी इंक्वायरी होनी चाहिए और महुआ मोइत्रा पर कार्रवाई भी होनी चाहिए। इसे प्रिविलेज ऑफ ब्रीच
serious allegation. Why চলছে কি হাত ধরে
shameful that she is elected from Bengal. We all are Bengali people, and seriously condemn this type of unethical practices by the TMC MP.
Defaming the PM.
She always loudly said against Honorable PM on the floor of the Parliament.
Lok Sabha Ethics Committee তাকে ডেকেছে। Lok Sabha Ethics Committee তাকে ডেকেছে।
Lok Sabha Ethics Committee should take appropriate action as early as possible.
As of now, I can confirm that India has formally conveyed its plan to unilaterally remove diplomatic immunities for all but 21 Canadian diplomats and dependents in Delhi by tomorrow, October 20th. This means 41 Canadian diplomats and their 42 dependents were in danger of having immunity stripped on an arbitrary date, and this would put their personal safety at risk. The safety of Canadians and of our diplomats is always my top concern. Given the implications of India's actions on the safety of our diplomats, we have facilitated their safe departure from India. This means that our diplomats and their families have now left.
Welcome back. Let's get you our curtain raiser right now to Mission Gyaan, because tomorrow you're going to be seeing a crucial test fight take place once again in Sriharikota of Andhra Pradesh. What's this about? You're going to be seeing a test flight of the crew escape module system, and this is one of the most crucial test flights perhaps of the Gyaan mission itself. What really do I mean by a crew escape module system? I explain that in our report first.
Our space heroes are all set with their next adventure. After Chandrayaan 3's historic success, ISRO is all set to kick off the ambitious mission Gaganyaan to send an Indian into space and back. And the first test flight will take place on Saturday, the first of 20 big tests that ISRO has planned for the near future to make this mission a success.
We are glad to show you a kind of test module. It is called as the Integrated Airdrop Test Crew Module Structure. So this is one of the original crew modules that will be tested, and this one's purpose is to be dropped from a distance of 4 to 5 kilometers from the atmosphere, and it will reach down to the, and they will be doing multiple tests on it to find out exactly how the structural integration works.
Gaganyaan's crew module escape system will be live tested from Sriharikota, a feature that is vital for the safety of future human spaceflight missions.
This is a testing of the crew escape system using a new rocket called test vehicle. So it's a liquid engine powered rocket. On top of that we have the crew module and crew escape system. So we will create an abort condition which is corresponding to speed of the rocket becoming speed of the sound. So at that time we will abort.
The crucial test entails a launch of the module into space, its re-entry into Earth's orbit, and a controlled touchdown in the Bay of Bengal. The exact trajectory that the spacecraft will intend to take off, sending a 3-member team into a low Earth orbit of 400 kilometers for 3 to 7 days, and then ensuring their safe return.
This particular crew module will be used for evaluating the end-to-end sequential performance of the parachute system. So we have planned several tests, nominal as well as many off-nominal tests as defined by our own design committees. So for one of the tests, this particular structure will be used, and we will have to repeat. So till we meet all the objectives what we have defined under the integrated airdrop test, we will be repeating this particular test.
The project is also being worked upon closely with our armed forces. The Navy will help with recovering the module once it touches down in the Bay of Bengal. And then, of course, the chosen astronauts will be from the Indian Air Force. While the training is top secret and details haven't been revealed yet of who the astronauts are, these images from earlier this month went viral, showing Indian Air Force men training for space. An ISRO manned mission to space could become a reality as early as 2024. And Prime Minister Modi has already made it clear he has super high expectations of our space scientists. Chairing a meet with the ISRO leadership, the Prime Minister has set clear deadlines. An Indian space station by 2035, a manned mission to Moon by 2040, and also missions to Venus and Mars.
हमने 2040 तक का पक्का रोड मैप बना दिया है। कुछ ही समय बाद भारतीयों को लेकर हमारा गगनयान स्पेस में जाएगा। फिर हम अपना स्पेस स्टेशन स्थापित करेंगे। वो दिन दूर नहीं जब हम अपने यान में पहला भारतीय चांद पर उतारेंगे।
The countdown is on, and Saturday's test will be super crucial to ensure the success of the Gaganyaan mission. With Pramod Madhav, Bureau Report, India Today.
So that's your first sneak peek into the module that will be taken to the skies tomorrow. I want to bring in now on this broadcast Manish Purohit, a former scientist of ISRO, space enthusiast, and no one better really who can explain to you what this test flight is all about. So Manish, thank you for joining us again here on India Today. Nice to have you back after all that we've seen with Chandrayaan and Aditya L1. How excited are you for this particular test flight? And explain to us in layman terms how important it is.
Thank you so much. And yeah, it's a really very exciting moment, because right now what India is planning, what ISRO is planning, is a very, very important part of this whole mission. When we are sending astronauts up in the sky and then in the space, So the topmost priority is sending them safely and bringing them back safely on ground. So this mission is meant to test that particular functionality. We call it crew escape system. So you would have seen that there is one pointed tower top of the launch vehicle, that the photos have been flowing right now on the internet. So in those pictures, we can see the top part of it is called CES, crew escape system, the pointy head, and then there is a rotund at the base. That rotund carries the crew module inside it. So crew module is inside that structure, and then that structure is kept on it. So if in case there is any eventuality, if in case there is any off-nominal situation when the launch vehicle is not performing as it is expected to be, in a real scenario when we are waiting for launching our astronauts, if something goes wrong,
so
then
this is essentially an emergency exit that they're testing out?
So this is something that none of the space agencies want to use it in a launch. Yeah. But they have to carry with all those, off-nominal conditions. Now, what happens exactly? See, it has happened in 1983. It was a Soviet's launch, and then when the launch vehicle was on the launch pad with the cosmonauts inside, then there was some leakage, and the launch vehicle caught fire. Now, when you are on a launch vehicle in the crew module, then you are sitting on a big skyscraper filled with the explosives, because these are fuels which are meant to be burnt, but they have to be burnt in a controlled way so that they can guide you to those particular trajectories. But if it goes uncontrolled, it's an explosion. So
in such a circumstance, this kind of an escape system also comes into effect. It's very interesting to notice and to get all these details, because it gives you a sense of how exactly ISRO is planning all contingencies here and ensuring that they have a backup to the backup plan in place. It's procedural, of course, for every space agency to go through these tests. Manish, I'm unfortunately completely out of time, but thank you for explaining this to us. Look forward to having you with us tomorrow as well here on India Today. We promise to get you all the updates on Mission Gaganyaan tomorrow morning from Sriharikota's when that launch will be taking place, and you can catch it live here on India Today. That's all we have time for on 6 p.m. Prime. Thanks very much for tuning in.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
I completely believe that the Central Bureau of Investigation and the NIA should take up this issue and see how far this woman went on to violate our national security and breach our national security, because all her questions in the parliament were in violation or were absolutely neglecting our national security. And her raving and ranting and obsession about Gautam Adani, absolutely, it all rings true. And I believe that the Central Bureau of Investigation, the NIA, and especially the Speaker of the Lok Sabha should take cognizance of her crime.
क्या ऐसा बच्चा भी समझ सकता है कि हीरानंदानी को पूरा तरह से घेर लिया? उन्ना हीरानंदानी बच्चा था क्या, जो क्वेश्चन बना के देता था, और पासवर्ड लॉगिन क्या महुआ मोइत्रा देने गई थी क्या? ये अडानी के खिलाफ महुआ मोइत्रा के थ्रू बुलवा रहा था। जब इसको चारों तरफ से घेर लिया, ब्लैकमेल किया जा रहा, डरवाया धमकाया जा रहा, तो अपने स्टैंड को वापस ले लिया है।
What really should be your alternatives to white refined sugar, which clearly is something that you must avoid? Let's talk about what you can use instead of this white sugar. Number one, organic brown sugar. Organic, then all the very better, because this is extremely healthy. Now what it does essentially is that this is processed, but it is made in the most natural way to retain most of sugarcane's nutrition, and that's the reason why this should be an alternative. Coconut or palm sugar, again extremely healthy sources of sugar, which are alternatives as well, extracted from the flower buds of the coconut palm tree. The sugar has a mild caramel taste and can be used in a number of ways in your delicacies, also for daily consumption. Date sugar, extremely nutritious, natural sweetener. Date sugar can be a great addition to your diet. This also is a good alternative. Jaggery or gur, as we know it, has got a world of benefits in terms of what it does to your body. Essentially, a lot of people have spoken about the fact that during pollution, you should be consuming a lot of gur. It's a great alternative to sugar. Also, the fact that it is rich in iron is really an added benefit and added advantage. Raw or unprocessed honey. This too is a great alternative. You can use it in various forms like you use white refined sugar. It tastes extremely good as well.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Co-powered by आपके भरोसे के लिए मैक्स लाइफ इंश्योरेंस.
Hello and welcome to Battle of Champions, our special on the Cricket World Cup with me, Nikhil Naz. The Indian team has now played 4 games and won 4 out of 4. Now they've moved to Dharamshala where they'll be taking on New Zealand in their next game, and that's going to be our focus in the show in the next half an hour. We'll also look at Virat Kohli, who's got 48 ODI tons, the manner in which his 100 came, and what are the various opinions as far as India's net run rate is concerned. Those are going to be our focus areas for the next half an hour. But we'll start with some big news that's coming in from the Indian camp. That is, India's star all-rounder Hardik Pandya will miss their next ICC World Cup game against New Zealand in Dharamsala. That's the big news at the moment. The BCCI has confirmed this news. Now, Pandya has been rushed to the National Cricket Academy in Bengaluru, where he will be treated by a specialist doctor from England. Now, if you remember, and we're watching the game yesterday, Pandya picked up an injury during India's game against Bangladesh when he fell over